is Peter Harbison, Executive Chairman and Founder of the Centre for Asia Pacific Aviation, joins us now from Sydney. Peter, thanks for joining us this morning. You are highly experienced in this. You've had time aviation law, 10 years in international civil aviation in Geneva, so you really know your stuff, obviously. This time, on the strike, if I can go there first, the unions say they're going to strike, the demands say Qantas are unrealistic, unacceptable. How's it going to play out?
That I don't know. They haven't actually specified what they're going to do. They've just thrown the threat into the air. But I mean, if you look at the fundamentals of it, there's a lot of illogicality there. These are the best paid pilots in the world, pretty much. And what they're really backing up against is the expansion of Qantas in Asia. And ironically, in fact, they're effectively being largely subsidised by that expansion, because the part of the operation that they're working for, the international part, is losing money quite heavily. So there's a quite understandable gap between the two sides in this. So how it plays out is anybody's guess, really.
The big concern, as BA have experienced, Virgin recently experienced, but it was called off, is forward bookings, isn't it? You're going to lose money with the idea of the strike, and therefore travel with someone else.
Exactly. You leave this sort of loose threat hanging over it, and people who are flying in 2 or 3 weeks or a month or so, perhaps going to Europe, because this is a very popular time to be doing that, will be looking very much at the alternatives. And of course those alternative airlines are very quick to grab onto any opportunity like that.
Now, overall, Peter, for Qantas itself, the pressures are mounting again, losses clearly, discounted airfares going down. I mean, what do you think is the future for the airline?
Well, Qantas itself is a fundamentally profitable airline. The thing that really is profitable in the airline, or there are two aspects of it really. One is the frequent flyer program, which is highly lucrative. The other one is, as I said ironically before, the low-cost side of it, both short haul in Australia and internationally, and potentially the growth in Asia. That's all part of a group, and these things intermesh with each other fairly effectively.
And what about the airlines have been hit pretty hard with this carbon tax, and clearly the carbon tax itself has been received fairly with hostile reception. But for the airlines it could mean rising fuel costs, therefore rising airfares for passengers. Is it the last thing they really want right now is a carbon tax from Julia Gillard?
It's certainly very unwelcome right now. I mean, Qantas have estimated it's going to cost them over a 12-month period somewhere in the region in excess of $110 million. Virgin Blue probably about $45 million, and that is, even though it's a lower amount for Virgin Blue, it's proportionately higher as it's a smaller airline, and most of its operations are actually domestic, so it's hit much harder by what is basically a domestic tax.
And then you've got the EU imposing a charge on all operations passing through EU airspace. It never ends, does it, Peter? It never ends for these airlines.
You've really got to wonder why anybody would want to be in the airline business, I must say, John.
I mean, going through the entire industry, and your vast experience, you know, Virgin, BA, etc., where's it going to end up? And what do you see the next few years doing? Will there be intense, perhaps, M&A activity as they force together to deal with the pressures?
Well, the immediate issue, obviously, is resolving some of the industrial problems that Qantas has. It's not just the pilots, it's also the engineers. I think in BA's case, Willie Walsh toughed it out very effectively because the fundamental proposition was this is an airline that's undergoing a lot of stress internationally, and if we don't make these cuts, if we don't get more efficient, we just aren't going to survive. Going beyond that, I mean, the growth for Qantas really is got to be in Asia. We're a mature market in Australia. Virgin Australia is going to continually eat away at Qantas's market share. So, you know, it's a no-brainer in many ways.
Peter Harbison, many thanks indeed for joining me. Peter Harbison, Executive Chairman and Founder of the Centre for Asia Pacific Aviation.